Today we will deal about the microbodies like peroxisomes and glyoxysomes. Just see about the peroxisome. This is a typical figure of a peroxisome where this one part is a region of a matrix and is enveloped by means of this one as a membrane. So typical cell membrane present, and this typical cell membrane encloses a matrix in which a crystals of urate oxidase are present, which are generally present in the peroxisome. So the term peroxisome was first of all coined in 1969 by Didouet. This peroxisome is involved in a formation and decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. So hydrogen peroxide metabolism, in the metabolism of hydrogen peroxide, this peroxisome plays an important role. This present in many animal cells as well as in the plant cells, maybe the oval or spherical organelles, and per cell number varies from 70 to 100. In the size, they are about 0.2 to 1.5 micron in a diameter. Peroxisomes are bounded by means of a single lipoprotein membrane. This one is a lipoproteinous membrane. This one will act as a protein. This layer will again act as a protein, while this yellowish colored region act as a lipid bilayer. So this is the region of a lipid bilayer. Okay, so these peroxisomes are bounded by means of a single membrane, and the single membrane is a lipoproteinous one. Membrane encloses a granular matrix. So this is the region of a matrix, or which is generally considered as a ground substance. This matrix is composed of amorphous amorphous or may contain threads or may contain fibrils or maybe condense, forming a homogeneous crystalline core, which is generally called as a nucleoid. Okay, so this is the region where nucleoid will be present. So nucleoid contains the crystals of urate oxidase enzyme. So if you see this one figure, this will act as a membrane, and inside the membrane, this is the region of matrix, and within the matrix the nucleoid are present, and this nucleoid contains the crystal of urate oxidase. Or see this one figure, this is a plasma membrane, not actually the plasma membrane, this is the unit membrane bounded by means of the peroxisome. This is the region of matrix, and these are the crystal or crystalline core of urate oxidase. This one is considered as a lipid bilayer. These are the proteins. So this is a unit membrane of the peroxisome. In some cells, the peroxisomes are smaller, and generally they lack the central core of crystalline material. Such peroxisomes are generally considered as a microperoxisome. In the plant cells, peroxisomes remain in close association with endoplasmic reticulum, chloroplast, and mitochondria, and are involved in a photorespiration. What is photorespiration? Actually, photorespiration contains two words, photo and respiration. That means the respiration that takes place in presence of photo, that is the light. Respiration that takes place in presence of light in the green plants is called as a photorespiration. They also contain enzyme of the photosynthetic cycle. Okay, contain glycolytic enzymes or oxidative enzymes. All these enzymes are present in hydrogen peroxide metabolism as well as in the photorespiration. Photorespiration is also called as a glycolate metabolism. So either get glycolate metabolism or photorespiration, and within the photorespiration or glycolate metabolism, a hydrogen peroxide is produced during the oxidation, and this hydrogen peroxide is a harmful, and therefore it is generally this hydrogen peroxide is broken down into the water and oxygen molecule by means of this peroxisome. So we will say about this. This contain the enzyme of a hydrolytic enzyme or oxidative enzyme, and these are rich in 4 enzymes, namely peroxidase, then D-amino acid oxidase, urate oxidase, and catalase. Catalase enzyme is especially related to the metabolism of hydrogen peroxide. This also contains small quantity of enzymes, namely hydratase, dehydrogenase, transaminase, as well as reductase. So just see, this one is a photorespiration, or this one is also called as a C2 cycle, or also called as a glycolate metabolism. Okay. Okay. So this is the region which is a chloroplast. This is the zone of a peroxisome, and this one is a mitochondria. So for the occurrence of photorespiration or glycolate metabolism, chloroplast, peroxisome, and mitochondria are essential. As you know, the chloroplast is the site of photosynthesis. So CO2 is fixed by means of ribulose 1,5-diphosphate and converted into 2 molecules of phosphoglyceric acid. But under the conditions, like when the concentration of O2 is higher than the CO2, when there is a presence of light, and third one, when the temperature ranges in between 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, at that time the RUDP carboxylase enzyme switches off and RUDP oxygenase starts its function. So instead of fixing the carbon dioxide, this RUDP oxygenase enzyme fixes the atmospheric oxygen, and it produces glycolic acid on one side and phosphoglyceric acid on another side. The glycolic acid is the first stable product. That's why it is called as a glycolic acid metabolism, or this one, glycolic acid, is also called as a glycolate. Okay, this glycolic acid or glycolate enters into the peroxisome, where it oxidizes in presence of glycolic acid oxidase. While the oxidation of glycolic acid to glyoxylic acid, H2O2 is produced, and this H2O2 is a toxic for the cell, and here the enzyme catalase plays important role. Immediately this catalase enzyme decomposes the hydrogen peroxide into water and O2. Okay, so this glycolic acid produces glyoxylic acid. The next one function performed by the peroxisome is the formation of amino acids. So this glyoxylic acid is an organic acid. When this glyoxylic acid condenses with the glutamic acid, okay, glutamic acid is the amino acid. Okay, glyoxylic acid is a organic acid. Under the influence of enzyme transaminase or aminotransferase, this glyoxylic acid, organic acid, is converted into the amino acid which is called as a glycine, while the amino acid is converted into the organic acid like alpha ketoglutaric acid. Okay, so transaminase or aminotransferase enzymes are involved in such a reaction, and the peroxisome plays important role in a formation of a amino acids. If you see here again, from glyoxylic acid, glycine is produced, which is a amino acid. This glycine enters into the mitochondria where it produces the serine, and when again serine is a amino acid. Okay, it condenses with again glyoxylic acid, which is a organic acid. Here serine is converted, amino acid is converted into the hydroxypyruvic acid, okay, which is a organic acid, and this glyoxylic acid, which is a organic acid, is converted into the glycine. So this glycine is again amino acid. So organic acids are converted into the amino acids, and this serine, which is a amino acid, is converted into the hydroxypyruvic acid, which is a organic acid. So serine is again converted to hydroxypyruvic acid, is converted into the glyceric acid, and again this glyceric acid enters into the chloroplast, which is a from the glyceric acid again phosphoglyceric acid is produced, and this phosphoglyceric acid is the intermediate, well-known intermediate of a Krebs cycle. So the details of this C2 cycle or photorespiration will be uploaded in a photosynthesis chapter later on. So just see what are the enzymes present in the peroxisome. So peroxidase enzyme, D-amino acid oxidase enzyme, urate oxidase enzyme, catalase enzyme, as well as the enzymes related to the metabolism of hydrogen peroxide. Okay, this also contains various kinds of the enzyme like hydratase enzyme, dehydrogenase enzyme, amino transferase or transaminase kind of the enzyme, reductase enzyme. Just the biochemical activities played by the peroxisome. Enzymes are responsible for the oxidation of the substrate with molecular oxygen to produce hydrogen peroxides. The hydrogen peroxide metabolism is present. The enzymes present in the peroxisomes are responsible for the oxidation of the substrate. Which substrate? Glycolic acid with molecular oxygen to produce hydrogen peroxide. Enzyme catalase, this is the enzyme catalase, and this catalase enzyme decomposes the hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. Then the next one is a glycolate cycle. This one is nothing but the glycolate metabolism or glycolate cycle or photorespiration, and it contains an important enzymes like catalase enzyme, this one, okay, glycolate oxidase, this one is a glycolate oxidase enzyme, glutamate glyoxylate aminotransferase, serine glyoxylate aminotransferase, this is a serine glyoxylate aminotransferase, hydroxypyruvate reductase, this is a hydroxypyruvate reductase. Okay, so glycolate cycle bring about the formation of a amino acids. The amino acids like glycine, serine are produced by means of the peroxisome. Reactions takes place in the chloroplast, peroxisome and mitochondria. Of course, about the glycolate cycle. Just see the functions of peroxisomes. First one function is a synthesis of amino acids. Synthesis of amino acid like glycine and serine takes place in the peroxisome. Then second one is a protection from the toxic effect of hydrogen peroxide. Enzyme catalase plays important role in the decomposition of the hydrogen peroxide, which is a toxic agent, and thus peroxisome protect the cellular organelles from the toxic effect of hydrogen peroxide. Catalase here acts as a safety valve as it destroys the hydrogen peroxide generated by the peroxisome itself. Next one function played by the peroxisome is a oxidation of beta oxidation of fatty acid. So if you see here, this is a beta oxidation of a pyruvic acid. The acetyl coenzyme A trans 2 aryl coenzyme A, 3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A, beta ketoacyl coenzyme A, acyl coenzyme A. This is a pathway of a beta oxidation. The important enzyme which are involved in the beta oxidation includes acetyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase, aryl coenzyme A hydratase, 3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase, and beta ketoacyl coenzyme A thiolase. So beta oxidation of a fatty acid, it is carried out by the peroxisome as in mitochondria. This is a region of mitochondria. This is a glyoxysome. Okay. So enzymes essential for beta oxidation of fatty acid includes acyl coenzyme A oxidase, enoyl coenzyme A oxidase, 3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase, and 3-ketoacyl coenzyme A thiolase. These enzymes serve to activate and oxidize the fatty acids to produce acetyl coenzyme A for anabolic reaction. Once acetyl coenzyme A is produced, this acetyl coenzyme A is helpful in various reaction. It can enter into the either in a Krebs cycle. It is involved in a synthesis of a fatty acids again. Next one, micro body which is present within the cell, plant cell especially, is a glyoxysome. So cell organelle which is present in the cytoplasm of the plant cell as well as in the fungus like neurospora, then yeast, as well as in seeds which are rich in oil. So many higher plants oily seeds also contains the glyoxysomes. These are absent in the animal cells and intimately associated with the lipid bodies which are generally called as a spheromes. These are bounded by means of a single membrane, and this single membrane is a lipoproteinous one. And this lipoproteinous membrane encloses the granular matrix, or generally considered as a ground substance. Matrix is a amorphous or may contain threads or fibrils forming homogeneous crystalline core which consists of dense rods of 6 millimicron diameter instead of the granules. These contain the enzymes for fatty acid metabolism, and this fatty acid metabolism enzyme helps in the conversion of stored lipid molecule into the carbohydrate in germinating seeds. When a oily seed is sown, at the time of germination, whatever lipid present within the germinating seed is converted into the carbohydrate during the process of respiration. So the lipids which act as a substrate, a respiratory substrate during the process of respiration, first of all broken down into the fatty acids, and fatty acids are broken down into the either organic acids or into the carbohydrate. So these glycosomes are present in the oily seed and they play important role while germination of the seed. Okay, it also contains the enzyme for gluconeogenesis. What is gluconeogenesis? Conversion of different non-carbohydrate precursors into the glucose. See this one figure. This is a gluconeogenesis. If you see here, this is a glucose. Okay, this is a glucose 6-phosphate, the process of glycolysis. Acetyl coenzyme A, this is a pyruvic acid. Fatty acids, when break down or during the breakdown of fatty acid or a beta oxidation process, a chain of fatty acid is usually decreased by means of 2 carbon, and these 2 carbons are present in a form of a acetyl coenzyme A. If you see here, these acetyl coenzyme A play important role in the formation of pyruvate. Or if you see the reverse reaction, suppose this is a process of respiration. During the process of respiration, this glucose is converted into the pyruvic acid by the process of glycolysis. So glucose is converted into the pyruvic acid by the process of glycolysis. These pyruvic acids are converted into the acetyl coenzyme A and it enters into the Krebs cycle. Here these acetyl coenzyme A are produced from the glucose molecule. So during the process of respiration, when the breakdown of fatty acids occur, it also produces the acetyl coenzyme A. These acetyl coenzyme A again forms the pyruvic acid. This pyruvic acid may form the lactic acid during the anaerobic process, or when the breakdown of amino acids occur, it again produces the pyruvic acid, and again this pyruvic acid produces the glucose molecule. Okay, so this one is the metabolic pole. So what is the gluconeogenesis? Conversion of stored fatty acids into the carbohydrate. Okay, where is gluconeogenesis? Conversion of a stored fatty acid into the carbohydrate in germinating seeds in presence of enzyme glyoxysome. Not only this, glyoxylate cycle is also present in the glyoxysome, or glyoxysomes play important role in a glyoxylate cycle. This one is a glyoxylate cycle. This glyoxylate cycle is operated in the plant cells only. Okay, first there is a condensation of acetyl coenzyme A with the condensation of first there is a condensation of acetyl coenzyme A with oxaloacetic acid. This is the condensation of oxaloacetic acid, that means oxaloacetate and acetyl coenzyme A in the form of citric acid. Okay, this occurs as in a Krebs cycle. You see, Krebs cycle, you can see the Krebs cycle on the same channel under the photosynthesis. So this is a Krebs cycle one, and during this Krebs cycle, this citric acid is produced from the oxaloacetic acid and acetyl coenzyme A. When the pyruvic acid produces the acetyl coenzyme A under the condensing enzyme, this oxaloacetic acid condenses with the acetyl coenzyme A and forms the citric acid. Okay, so first there is a condensation of acetyl coenzyme A with oxaloacetic acid, resulting into the formation of citric acid, as in this Krebs cycle. Two decarboxylation process or steps of the Krebs cycle are bypassed and succinic acid is formed along with glyoxylic acid. So here citric acid produces succinic acid along with this glyoxylic acid. Two decarboxylation processes here bypass. If you see here, this one is a Krebs cycle. Citric acid, from citric acid cis aconitic acid is produced, from this isocitric acid is produced, from isocitric acid oxalosuccinic acid is produced, from which alpha ketoglutaric acid, from alpha ketoglutaric acid to succinyl coenzyme A, and from succinyl coenzyme A succinic acid is produced. So during the process of glyoxylic cycle, glyoxylic acid along with succinic acid is produced from the citric acid. So citric acid produces, first one is a succinic acid and another one is a glyoxylic acid by passing two decarboxylation processes. So oxalosuccinic acid, when produces the alpha ketoglutaric acid, there is a decarboxylation. Also there is a decarboxylation when the carbon passes or the alpha ketoglutaric acid converts into the succinyl coenzyme A. Okay, so two decarboxylation steps of the Krebs cycle are bypassed and succinic acid is produced along with the glyoxylic acid. This succinic acid can be utilized in a gluconeogenesis reaction. Gluconeogenesis reaction, that means formation of this Krebs cycle precursors like succinic acid, fumaric acid, malic acid into again glucose. So the succinic acid can be utilized in a gluconeogenesis. This is the reaction, or these are the steps where again glucose is produced, while glyoxylate can serve to regenerate oxaloacetic acid, okay, for an additional round of the cycle, glyoxylate cycle. So these are the functions played by the glyoxylate. Okay, so just see, not glyoxylate, glyoxysome. These are the two differences present in the glyoxysome and peroxisome. Glyoxysomes are present only in the plant cells and filamentous fungi. Okay, only in the plant cell and filamentous fungi. Okay, so this is a plant cell and filamentous fungi, while peroxisomes are present almost in all eukaryotic cells. Okay, glyoxysome catalyzes or catalysis of the formation of acetyl coenzyme A from fatty acids stored in the germinating seeds, or when the oily seeds germinates, the fats are converted into the acetyl coenzyme A. When peroxisomes are involved in a breakdown of very long chain of fatty acid through beta oxidation. Along with it is also involved in a glycolate metabolism, or in the hydrogen peroxide metabolism. So this is about the microbodies which are present, which are the membrane bounded cell organelles present in the cells. So this is about the peroxisome and glycosome. Next one part we will see in the next video. Till then, goodbye.